Oh, yeah? So you guys going to clip your microphones onto yourselves?
Is that what this is for? What happens if I clip it to, like, my face?
I know they're right. Yeah.
Oh, I got a little nice pocket. I just put it in the pocket.
Inside the pocket, you just hear your nipples scraping across the...
My nipple ring.
Sounds like a spring.
It's actually a tassel. Is that going to be good enough?
Stop being so fucking... That's going to be in the final edit.
Please don't. This calls for more Bodo.
I was about to say I need some more.
11 minutes. Ghost Call brought to you by Bodo. Spill all over George's computer.
Yeah. Are we ready? That has been the opening of the Ghost Collective.
Ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're starting this. Welcome to the Ghost Collective.
I wasn't ready to start.
We're ready anyway.
Here are your co-hosts, Steve, George, and then there's guest appearance, Jim.
You might have seen him on the last podcast.
Not the last. Every single one.
Everyone since. Except for one that we recorded with Alicia.
Alicia just was me for a day.
Yeah.
I don't think
So
I
did
even
you
listened
two,
to
like,
that one.
Kiss.
What?
What?
Me and Steve always kiss.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you're not around, it's just me and Steve making out.
Talking about kissing.
I know our last episode was a Halloween episode.
And now this is a Christmas episode.
Yeah, we just skipped right over Thanksgiving.
Is this a Christmas episode?
It can be considered a Christmas.
A holiday episode.
Holiday.
I mean, it's like 4 days until
There's other holidays.
holiday.
It's apparently
Yes, it
Yule
is
tide,
Yule.
right?
So,
Yeah, I ate my beef.
there you
I
go.
thought you weren't supposed to eat beef. Yeah, you burn a candle and you don't eat beef.
That's how the witches did it.
You know, Easter you give up fish. Wait. No, you give up beef for Lent. I'm intermingling my holidays. Wait, so what do you give up for Yuletide?
Your kids? I don't know.
Jesus.
To the horned god. There goes the pagans.
So, I have a creepypasta. I'm pretty sure Jim
Do
has a
you?
creepypasta, and
Do
so
I?
does Steve have a creepypasta.
I have a creepypasta that I'm going to
And
be
a
reading,
half?
and then I have a creepypasta that I'm going to try and disperse from my memory.
Disperse.
Yeah.
Dispense from your memory.
Disperse. It's going to be out. It's going to be gone by the time we get it out there.
It's kind of like if you take like Windex and you turn it halfway and you pull the trigger.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ew.
Not the first time that's been compared to something. Oh, yeah, we need to cut that.
You need to stop saying that because it's not getting cut.
You don't learn from your mistakes.
Cut it.
I hope the microphone's not picking up my teeth clinking against
I
it.
hope the microphone isn't picking up anything I've said in the past half hour.
That sucks. Because it probably is.
It's picking up everything that you've said. I'm pretty sure I gotta like.
It's even picking up my thoughts.
I gotta turn yours up a little bit because you're.
Thank God.
Okay, there you are. So I don't know who wants to go first.
Jim.
I'll go first because
Is yours Christmas?
I'm a Chad.
So is yours Christmas themed at all or a holiday themed?
I don't know. I hit taste a random pasta and now we're here.
Mine
It's
is
actually
And 10 years later, I'm here with you
it's
guys.
just the Wikipedia page for linguine.
okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so as I just said, I just hit on a random fucking creepypasta, I guess. I'm also having a stroke right now because I can't think. But it's called a memory. That's what the creepypasta is called. And I know nothing about this, so if it's shit, we're going to make fun of it. So
That's what you're here for.
it's by a guy named Alapanamo. L-A-L-A-P-A-N-A-M-O.
Oh, the Alamo?
So if it sucks, just search this guy up
Ammonia.
and send him a bunch of hate mail. So yeah.
Aragon?
Yeah, it was written by a dragon.
That's the dude from Lord of the Rings. We talking about dragon.
You're talking about the guy from the
There's
Hobbit.
a book called Aragon.
Schmog.
Harry Potter.
There's a book called Aragon.
The
Not a
spider?
dragon. No. Hold on, now we're getting sidetracked.
No, don't get sidetracked. Read your story.
No,
Yeah, read your
we're
story.
talking about
I don't
Aragon
care.
now.
Okay,
God
you know
damn
what?
it.
Yeah, the
just gonna read
spider. Ron is all scared of him.
No.
Hagrid.
Aragon, you fucking bitches.
I know what you're talking about. Ew.
I don't know anything that isn't written and gentrified by J.K. Rowling.
I don't think that's the right use of gentrified.
Yeah.
Gentrified by J.K. Rowling.
Sounds
My memoir.
sounds like my next erotic fanfic.
Read your goddamn story.
Okay, A Memory by Alapanema. When thinking back to my earliest memories, nothing is concrete. A string of hazy images come to mind like random snapshots out of time, each one associated with certain feelings and emotions. They're imbued with a mystical, dreamlike quality, a gift born of childhood naivete.
Excuse me?
The magic of every Christmas. Oh my god, is this actually a Christmas story? The magic of every Christmas, when Santa was still real, for example, is an experience of pure joy that is lost with maturity. Many of these snapshots are impossible to place in any sort of context. They're just there, sunken in the crevice of the brain without rhyme or reason. Playing with my dad's beard in a wood-paneled room, him smiling down at me, comforting. Or discovering a long row of marching ants in someone's wooded backyard, all by myself. Exciting. Some of them don't even seem real in hindsight. Did I actually fall from that tree by the lake, only to land on my feet without a scratch? Was it really a dream? I don't think so. Sure, I have memories of distant dreams, but there is a clear distinction between the dreams and reality of my past. I don't know how I can tell, I just can. And for this reason, one memory has always troubled me. The experience was so surreal, and yet certain details stand out with marked clarity. I'm not exactly sure when it happened. I couldn't have been older than 5 or 6. My brother and I were sleeping in our bunk bed. Because he was older, he got the top bunk. I had just woken up, but it was still nighttime. Something felt different. I remember seeing and smelling the rain, but not hearing any. The window was open, and it was very cold in the room. Why was the window open? The curtains were gently flapping, but there was no breeze. The quiet was so intense it buzzed through my ears. I'd been lying on my side, with one arm dangling off the edge of the bed. Gradually, I became aware that it was warmer near the floor. I felt some kind of heated breeze gently strike my hand, coming and going in bursts. Finally, I recognized it as someone's breathing. Then the woman slid out from under my bed. The nightlight showed that she had long blondish hair and wore a white nightgown, and in the dimness I thought it was my mother. I wasn't at all scared. It's funny how a child's mind works. What's Mommy doing under the bed? Must be getting something or checking for monsters. I was too tired to say anything and remained motionless, watching. The woman was on her back, but her face stayed in the same shadows.
Hold on, pause there.
She rolled over and crawled on all fours to... This is the climax of the story and you're having me pause?
Okay, go ahead.
What the fuck? It's literally like the last paragraph.
Okay, go for it.
Her
Yeah.
every movement was silky smooth and completely silent. She reminded me of a white ribbon dancing in the wind. I closed my eyes and fell back to sleep. I also remember my brother telling me about a weird dream the next morning. He dreamt of a woman who lived under the floor and came out at night to play in the rain. When her clothes got soaked, she went back inside and would whisper things to anyone who was dreaming. Or sleeping. It became a recurring dream for him until our family moved out of that house. Strange what the brain chooses to remember. Oh, that was pretty good.
Oh my god. That's horrifying, dude.
That was actually...
The reason I was pausing you is because that's literally like the same story that I had, just written
That's why you paused.
in a different...
That's why you paused me.
Yeah, I was like, Wait a minute.
That couldn't wait. 2 more paragraphs.
I appreciate the author's optimism in the sense that, like, this strange spider woman comes crawling out from under his bed, and he's like,
Oh, okay.
Mom?
Just a dream, you know.
It's just my mom. That would be my last thought.
Yeah, I don't think that would be really a memory for me, rather than like a topic in my next therapy session.
That'd be something that, like...
What's his mom doing? That's his thought. That,
Yeah,
like,
that's normal
does
behavior.
he just kind of skitter about?
Yeah.
Oh, Mom's just skittering about all the way to the
Oh,
kitchen again.
It must be my
Need my sandwich ready.
my 3:03 a.m. snack.
3:03.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that. That was pretty good.
So don't send hate mail to this Alampano dude. That's pretty good.
Yeah, this Alamo ammonia man.
Not too much to talk about, but it was pretty good.
Well, luckily I have a backup story.
A backup story?
Yeah, in case yours was absolute shit.
No, literally. So mine was called the
Sorry.
frozen lady on my bed. So instead of like a lady scuttling
Yeah,
around,
we're just switching where she's at.
yeah, she's just sitting on the bed and like,
Scuttling for the Wi-Fi password.
and the guy
Is it
the guy
mine?
literally thinks that it has no author, but the guy literally
blank.
he literally
That's
thinks it's
creepy.
his mom in the story. So like,
What's going on?
What if Steve's story like is just like the woman
Yeah, and it was my mom.
the woman hovering over the bed.
Yeah.
The woman in the bed with me.
all right, well, since I can see the tab open that is Steve's story,
Don't spoil it.
I'm gonna go
You're
before
not
Steve.
gonna let yourself spoil it.
I'm not gonna let myself spoil it. I'm gonna go before Steve because I feel like Steve's is very holiday oriented. And I think it would be a good way to- His is more Christmas though.
That's the word Christmas.
I said it once. Okay,
What do you got, George?
mine is called "Let Me In," written by blank,
Man,
written by Eric Andre.
Yeah, right.
I'm in.
Says it's a 3-minute read. It's got a 8.11 out of 10
man.
score.
That's a short boy.
I have not read it yet.
Oh my god.
Who's it by?
We said blank. Pay attention, dude. I need another beer. You just start while I fondle my microphone. And
I
get
need
a-
to wait until you're
get
done
a
doing it.
nondescript beer. What?
I'm gonna start reading.
That's what
When
I
you sit
said.
back down, don't try to put your mic
That's
back
what I
on.
said.
Kat sat alone on her couch, shoveling popcorn into her mouth.
Her name's
She's-
Cat?
Yeah.
Or is it
Cat Von
is
D.
it a cat that's
Cat Williams.
eating pop?
Now,
Please continue.
does Cat have a cat?
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
It's Cat Williams. Cat Stevens.
And the cat's in the cradle in the zoo.
That's what's his name? Something Chapman.
What?
Cats in the cradle in the sun.
Oh,
I love that song. She stared
I
at
wish
her
I had a
TV,
cat.
tied to the She stared at her TV, tied to the suspense of the movie. The sky darkened as the sun approached the horizon.
Fuck.
Did you just do that? Hidden behind the ocean of trees, her house.
Dude, we're talking
lay
about
alone.
cats. You're the real animal here.
One lone tree stood in the center of her yard, visible through the living room window. A menacing presence filled the area, yet to make itself known. You had to do that right in the opening of my first paragraph. You had to do.
I didn't get any on the carpet. It's completely on me.
Yeah, can we start over?
All I got from this is Cat eating a popcorn.
That's all you really know so far. Kat was glued to her movie. Are they already? Okay. Kat was glued to her movie, but still able to catch a glimpse of the black object aimed at her door. Thud!
Thud.
Kat jumped,
That was
startled by
fun.
unexpected disturbance, spilling the popcorn. What
No.
the hell? She whimpered, approaching the door. The doorknob was cold in her hand. Her heart pounded in her chest. The hinges squeaked as the door cracked open. A rush of cold air washed Kat's face. As her eyes scanned the dim yard, nothing could be seen. Nothing made a sound. She slowly shut the door, then cleaned up the popcorn. She had just sat down when another black object hit her door with a louder thud than before.
She just sat down with another whole popcorn.
She popped a whole nother-
That was where she dropped the popcorn.
Made a whole nother thing.
Her entire house is filled with popcorn.
She looked at the tree in the yard, almost certain she saw what threw it. Kat sat there watching the tree, waiting for something to happen. It's just some kids, she thought. Nothing to worry about. I would worry about that if there's kids in my yard throwing things.
Yeah,
Would you
really.
ignore that? Like,
Absolutely not.
Goddamn kid.
I would go pop more popcorn if I was her.
she quickly made herself comfortable and began to turn on another movie. Another one. Was the movie... Oh, never mind. I'm asking too many questions.
It was a popcorn documentary.
How it's made popcorn.
Minutes passed and another thud shattered the silence, shaking the door. Kat raced for the lock and quickly shut the blinds. They'll go away, she said, but grabbed a knife to calm her nerves and her sense of security.
The kids will go away, grabs a knife, but if they don't...
Tap, tap, tap. She heard light pecking on the living room window. The pecking grew louder and faster. She froze there in place, staring at the window as the tapping became more profound. She was afraid to investigate, but brave enough to stand her ground. Her home was small, and every hiding place would be too predictable. Besides, she didn't want to hide. She wanted to see it coming instead of cowering in fear. The tapping suddenly stopped. Kat slowly made her way to the door and put her back to it. A shadow eclipsed the light from the window atop the door. She stood just out of sight, holding her breath. With her back pressed against the wood, she could feel it knocking 3 times softly. Kat could hear the galloping beat of her heart in her head. Her anxiety raised to the peak. 3 more knocks hit the door, harder this time. "Let me in." A hoarse whisper slipped through the door and into Kat's ears.
The horse whisper.
That is what that says, right? A horse.
Hey.
A horse whisper. Yeah.
Okay. She bit her lip, tears filling her eyes.
Oh,
Another
English.
3 knocks erupted, furious now. "Let me in!" A now angry voice ordered.
Go away, horse.
No horses here.
Stay in the stable, goddammit!
Please sit aside, no horses.
The knocking didn't cease. It grew harder as the voice grew louder. "Let me in! Let me in! Let me in!" The knocking grew so fierce it could be shattered. It could have shattered the door. Tears leaked from her eyes. What do I do? She thought. Should I open the door? The knocking was more than she could bear. "I know you're in there, Kat." It said. Her stomach twisted. Her breath caught in her throat, and tears now streaming down her face. "Go away!" she shouted finally. "Let me in!" it screamed in response. "Leave me alone!" she cried. The voice and the knocking echoed in her head, making her more nauseous than before. Reaching for the lock hesitantly, she sucked up her tears.
It just sucked him right back up.
Sucked her up like the popcorn from earlier.
And held her breath.
She's eating a lot of popcorn. She needs all the moisture in her body she can get.
She sucked up her tears and held her breath, unlocking the door and throwing it open. Nothing was there. The tree stood in the yard, unmoving, no wind, nothing. She shut the door, shaking in fear. With the click of the lock, the room grew cold. Goosebumps covered her skin. "Thank you for letting me in," a voice whispered behind her. That's it. That's all I got.
Oh, wow.
All I could think about in the "let me in" no exchange was that video you just showed me of "fuck you, Guffy." Come down here and say that. Fuck you.
Go fuck yourself.
Go
So
fuck
what do you
yourself.
think it was? Was it like an invisible vampire?
I
Or...
think it was a horse.
Well, no. If it was a vampire, she would have had to say, "Come in."
I mean, but the opening of the door could be,
Yeah.
that could be construed as consent.
Could it be, though?
Do they have to say,
Oh
come
my-
in?
Yes. No, they have to say,
I mean, if
"Come
we're
on in."
going off of let the right one in, I guess so. I don't know. You're the vampire expert.
Go
Yeah,
off
you're
on
the
what?
vampire nerd.
Let the right
you
one
twink.
in. You've never seen that movie? Wow.
You alright?
Sucks, Steve.
You can do it.
Wow! Oh my god!
So all that.
World is rocked.
So hold on. All that happened there was something was tapping on her window and she let it in.
Yeah.
Why'd she let it in?
Yo, I would
So she
never
can
have
stab
opened the
it?
door.
She didn't let it in. She just opened the door.
It said thank you for letting me
That
in.
just went against you. The whole thing you just said.
Yeah, but implying it's not a vampire. But with letting it in, that's the main argument here, is letting it, opening the door enough for it to be a consent of, come on in.
I don't think it's looking for consent.
I'm gonna turn this whole thing on.
Then why is he saying let me in the first place? Why didn't he break through the window?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want DNA somewhere. You can cut yourself.
It's a ghost or something. It doesn't have DNA.
just those ghost fingerprints.
Yeah, but then so like,
What if he has ghost
if you're a
clubs?
ghost, if you're a ghost and you murder someone, cops are going to come in, and there's going to be that one crazy cop that's like, I've seen
Ghosts.
something like this before. My mommy would always tell me about this. We got ghosts. I know someone we can call. And then, like, all the rest of the cops are like, Jefferson, you're insane. But then, like, the chief's like, no, he's got a point. Call your man in, Jefferson. And then you got a paranormal investigator on your ass, and you're going to get exercised.
I just love how
On
you're
a
telling
treadmill.
this story with like 2 bottles of beer right next to you. That's hilarious. That's
I'm gonna turn this whole thing on its head. What if it's not invisible? What if it's got super speed?
Wait, did
And
it
it's
say it was
actually-
invisible?
Well, she didn't see it, and you guys said
It was
could've been
dark,
invisible.
wasn't it?
Well, whatever it is, it had to go past her. Well, said the room
I
got
thought it just
cold.
walked in.
so. Now we're back to vampires.
No. Sonic. He ran past her.
That's dumb. That's dumb.
I think it was a...
But she got rings in her house. That's actually really
Don't say-
scary. Really scary if you think about it.
Don't say it's stupid. And
Takes out your jewelry.
I feel like it would be easy to
And then
set a
leaves.
trap for Sonic, though. You could just put, like, a bear trap down and he'll run into it eventually.
Would he's so
he moves
fast.
fast that by the time it closes, it wouldn't.
I don't know, bear trap's pretty fast. Viewers,
Faster
what do you
than
think?
Faster
What do you
than the
think's
fastest
faster? No,
hedgehog.
we're doing a Ghost Collective poll, viewers. What do you think's faster, a Sonic the Hedgehog or a bear trap snapping closed?
Were you literally about to type how fast can a hedgehog move?
How fast can a hedgehog outrun a bear trap?
Tim, Sonic can run 765 miles per hour.
Okay, well he's a fictional character, so I'm gonna say he can run 30 miles per hour.
That's still pretty fast.
In my head canon, Sonic can only run 30 miles per hour.
Well, in my head canon, he can run 900 miles.
Yeah, well, in my head canon, my Sonic kills your Sonic.
So I guess he runs 0 miles an hour.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Interesting.
Can we actually just, like, turn this podcast into, like, a power
Sonic
level
hour.
analysis? No, you know there's, like, anime channels that, like, compare, like, Goku's power level versus Naruto's power level. Can we just do, like, Sonic versus, like, Bear Trap?
The power level of a bear trap.
How would you catch different, very fast fictional characters?
So I think a Bear Trap would be, like, a
I think
solid,
bear
like-
trap would be like 90% of them.
Yeah, because Sonic doesn't, like, they don't have opposable thumbs, so they can't disarm the bear trap. They'll never win against it.
And I mean, how many people in their respective universes are like facing bear traps on a day-to-day basis? Like, none of them are going to see it coming.
It's a bear
Could you
trap.
imagine if that's just what Eggman does? He just gets him with a bear trap.
No, years and years of like different inventions and robots
Yeah.
and stuff to try to kill Sonic, and then
He's like, well, I guess
Bear
I'll...
trap. He goes to Cabela's and just buys a bear trap.
the Bass Pro Shop.
Hi, we are now the anime collector. Wait, Sonic isn't an anime.
It's an animated
Children's
show. Of course it is.
Saturday
I mean, it's a
TV.
cartoon. Depends on who you
The
take.
anime is not cartoons. Yeah, no, it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna give this story like a low like 4 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because
We're-
popcorn.
I'm
talked
giving it
about for-
9 popcorn pops out of 10.
We talked about it for a solid minute, and then we got stuck on Sonic. That's not a good story.
That's a great story.
I mean, for Sonic, maybe.
Get ready for this very original.
Ready for the original holiday creepypasta? Jim, give me a guess of what you think it might be.
I'm guessing you might be driving home, buddy.
Jim, I'm like 2 glasses of wine.
Yeah, I'm 2 fucking bottles in, bud. Nah, I'll be good. Anyways, what am I guessing?
Don't
Guess-
say that online.
It's a holiday creepypasta.
Holiday creepypasta.
Guess what it's about? If you get it right, I don't know what I'll do.
Let's put it to you this way. One time, me and Steve tried to rent it out of the. Stop clicking things with my.
Poop.
So it's Jeff the Killer, except he has a Santa hat
No,
on.
one time, me and Steve went
Yes.
to go buy this movie at a red box.
Krampus. If it's Krampus, I want to shit myself.
It's Rainbow Six Siege.
Why would you do Krampus, dude? That was like 3 years ago. And everyone was talking about it. Do you know how much I had to hear the word Krampus? when
I
that
mean,
movie
Krampus-
was-
Wait a minute, here. Actually,
how much?
I
had
would-
to hear
Krampus is
about
a
it.
lot older than 3 years.
I know, but the movie came out like 3 years years ago, and that's all I had to hear about is,
Okay,
oh
no.
my God, Krampus, oh my God.
Never mind, they actually do say the word Krampus in here. I was about to say, maybe they just don't, they don't really
Change the
allude
name.
to Krampus.
Change it.
Yeah.
Sonic.
You know what it was?
Jim.
You know what it was? Back in, like, the 1100s, there was two guys in a bar, and one guy came up with Santa Claus.
Well, I got Krampus.
And everyone loved him. Everyone loved this dude. Santa Claus became the guy for December 25th. He eclipsed Jesus. Santa Claus is on more children's minds than Jesus fucking Christ.
Dude, you're John Lennoning right now. I need to ask you to stop being John Lennon right
and
now.
the dude next to him in that bar took a sip of his beer when, like, all the hot girls were just like, oh my God, we love Santa Claus. He's just like, yeah, well, I'm going to make him evil, though.
He has a trench coat.
I'm going to make him evil,
He
though.
has a trench coat and his hair slicked back. He's like, yeah, but what if Krampus was, like,
evil?
A Marilyn Manson fan?
Anyway, get on with your fucking plebeian shit. I'm cursing. There's gonna be a lot of beeping this episode.
Yeah, noticed. I got.
Hope you enjoy editing, Jim. It's gonna be a fun time.
I'm editing this one.
This is
editing
called
George.
Krampus, written by J.
You already messed it up.
It's me.
How do you pronounce that?
I wrote it. It's me.
J.
Speziali.
J. Speziali. Estimated reading time: 3 minutes.
Hey, my
wow,
mom
we
thought,
all had stories that were estimated reading time 3 minutes.
Pause this. My mom thought Mr. Miyagi was pronounced Mr. Miyachi. And all I could think of was an Italian...
Mr. Mariachi.
An Italian guy trying to teach karate. A waxer on and a waxer off.
Hey, you're not a kicking high enough.
There goes the Italians.
Hey, Paulie, before you leave, I made your mom some linguine. Just make sure you pick it up. I don't want to.
Put it down.
If I take it home, my wife's going to ask me why I made all this extra linguine. I don't feel like hearing it.
Same.
Can I read Krampus now,
I
or?
don't want to hear Krampus.
I want to hear it. Go.
Okay. No.
Drown yourself in the bottle.
Each year,
Steve.
Each year on December 5th, a person in my...
Is this the start of it?
I'm going to unplug your mic in a moment.
Do it.
Oh, now you really need to. That was disgusting. No one wants this.
I don't like 1.5 beer, Jim.
Neither do I.
Yes.
I want to go back to, like,
this is hitting me a little different.
either 0 beer Jim or 9 beer
Can you
Jim.
read your story?
I'm trying! Each year, on December 5th, a person in my hometown is brutally murdered.
Jesus.
The police are at a loss. With each victim, a poetic story is left behind. Below are the stories from the past 3 years.
Do you think the police start, like, getting, like, since they know it's going to happen, do you think they're, like, jaded to the point where they're more excited for the story?
They're behind it. They're just blaming it on Krampus. I want Krampus, I guess.
They don't tell you it's actually a dog.
Like, December 4th. Like, do you think they get excited to be on shift that night so they can be the one to see the story first? Like, I hope this story's good this year, guys. Anyways, continue.
Frederick loved to smile, for he was always glad, happy, warm, and gentle, never ever sad. But Frederick had a secret, one he only knew. This man loved...
Really
Can you shut up? Can you shut up? Shut up. Shut up.
Okay, I'm done. I'll behave.
Now I gotta start the entire poem all over again.
Everyone wants to hear it.
Frederick loved to smile, for he was always glad, happy, warm, and gentle, never ever sad. But Frederick had a secret, only one he knew. This man loved to strangle children.
Jesus.
He turned them cold and blue. The townsfolk never found them, for he was very smart. Frederick took their corpses and pulled them all apart. It couldn't be young Frederick, everyone would say. He is a man of God. We always see him. I think about Krampus. Oh, this is horrifying. Oh my God.
We're in it now.
I'm in it now. The cold night came, and Frederick rested his head, but soon he heard a scratching underneath his bed. Frederick trembled and looked, oil lamp in hand. On his bedroom floor, the demon had a plan. Away with you, beast. The night is dark and long. You have no business here, for I have done no wrong. Krampus only laughed, as he shook his rusty chain. He hung Frederick by the neck, until he writhed in pain. The links constricted, digging into skin. Frederick then cried out, paying for his sin. He begged and pleaded until his final breath. With a beautiful snap, Frederick bled to death. Krampus hung him out to dry, and all the townsfolk began to cry. But not the children, for now their souls were free, and under Frederick's body the phantom danced with glee. Alright, so at this point, I don't see Krampus as being a bad guy. I mean, he just killed like a...
Yeah, murderer.
He got, I mean...
Okay, well, I mean...
Krampus is seeming pretty cool.
Right, so we're going to analyze this through the stories. We're going to decide whether or not Krampus is bad or not.
Right now, I give Krampus a 10 out of 10.
Hold on. So, like...
10 out of 10 what? Good boy points?
10 out of 10...
He's going to get his chicken nuggets.
Kid killers hanging from chains, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, you get into the whole thing of, like, vigilante justice, right? I don't know.
Jim, drink your beer.
I don't want to see Krampus as a good dude. He's supposed to be...
Well, I am now.
He's supposed to be bad Santa.
No, that's bad Santa.
He's not supposed to be like,
Who's that guy who plays him?
he takes the law into his own hands. Krampus.
Billy
Joe Armstrong?
Idol. Billy Idol.
Billy Eilish.
With a rebel yell, he cried.
Billy Eilish played bad Santa.
Yeah.
We ready for poem part 2?
Oh, wait, it's not done?
No, there's a few more.
Oh, shit.
Greta loved herself more than she could bear. She never had enough and could never ever share. Want was never more, it was only need. Her envy grew and grew, and with it came her greed. Greta needed more, but money wasn't flush, so she stole from her family. It gave her quite the rush. It is not enough, to herself she would say. I must have it all, there is no other way. Into her grandparents' home, Greta crept inside. They had many treasures, jewelry, and gemstones pied. Pied?
Pied.
But when she looked about, wealth she did not find. Only ancient Krampus, with something on his mind. Greta shrieked and trembled, staring at his claws. She knew that there would be no mercy from this evil Santa Claus. I really hate that they ended like that, because that just completely just...
Yeah, that was...
2 points for Jim.
Wait, what?
You shall have riches, Krampus said with a grin, and he gave them to her, after peeling off her skin.
Is that it?
Well, there's one more poem.
I thought that was like another poem.
That's the last poem. Well, there's another poem.
The first one was
What did you say?
I don't know. Jim's tripping me up over here.
The first one was better. I'm being good.
I have one more.
You can't determine that yourself.
Let's talk about poem number 2.
Hitler thought he was doing good too.
I don't think he did.
So did Frederick until Krampus strung him up.
And then danced under him. I don't know why I smiled at
It's not that cheerful.
So wait, how did Krampus... So if he has long claws, how did he choke Frederick?
with his hands.
I don't know. I guess he can get some
His
sort of
toes.
dexterity under him.
What if he doesn't have
See,
long
I'm thinking like
toenails?
long, like long curvy things, like a pterodactyl.
They can go straight. You don't know the anatomy of.
They could have curled up, if all you know.
What kind of functionality would that have? Why would evolution go, yeah, you know what? I want to reward Krampus through the ages with curling up nails.
Why do elves wear bells on their hats?
Because elves are stupid.
Is that a
I don't know.
joke or?
No,
Oh.
I'm genuinely curious.
Elves
I
literally...
stay up at night.
Here's the thing. Elves let some
So you
jolly
don't know.
fat guy enslave them. They're probably not the smartest thing ever. No? No input here? You're giving me that look like I just said something bad. What?
Herman was a doctor. Herman was a doctor, for that's what he had. Oh man, I can't get over your last
I didn't
comment.
even say anything. Herman was a doctor.
Herman was a doctor,
Daddy had no plan.
for that's what he would say, and every single patient they would have to pay. He cut and pulled
Oh,
and
shit,
burned.
Practice.
He cut and pulled and burned, and after he was done, for more he was always. Hold on.
You can do it.
No, it was, he cut and pulled and burned, and after he was done, for more he always yearned. The surgeon was.
Shit, they're changing up the fucking rhythm, dude.
I know, it's like.
Damn, we got a pellet here.
The surgeon was a butcher who had a taste for swine. With their bleeding flesh, he'd pair a fine red wine. The hunger took him, body, mind, and soul, yet this evil, it never took its toll. Herman was alone. In his chair he sat. All this human meat had made him very fat. He drifted off to slumber and began to snore until an angry Krampus burst through the door.
I'm here, fucker.
Herman could not move. He wet himself in fright. Krampus licked his lips. And he said, Krampus, stop licking my lips.
Krampus licked his lips. Man, this dude gonna taste all right.
Krampus licked his lips and let out a squeal of delight. First he gouged out his eyes, and Herman could not see. Then Krampus filleted his tongue. It was tender as could be. Christmas is joyous, full of love and cheer, but you must remember the one that we all fear. So be kind to one another, show love and heed this text, or Krampus will find you, and you will certainly be next. The police are seeking any information that may help bring this killer to justice. As of this morning, 3 more bodies have been found in a neighboring village.
Wait,
Okay,
so
I don't want to find Krampus.
Okay, hold on. What if
That's pretty
Krampus
cool.
is writing these things? Like, what
It's
if he's
Krampus
just,
propaganda.
No,
is that
yeah,
what you're
like,
saying?
like Herman is
He
actually
leaves
just an
posters around.
upstanding
Yeah.
doctor. He's just an upstanding doctor doing his job. Krampus kicks in his door and kills him. So he writes this poem.
He ate people.
He writes this poem. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, this guy was bad. And then like, yeah. So
And here we are just spreading it for him. We're like, yeah, pro Krampus.
it's like,
it's Krampus propaganda. Next thing
Exactly.
going to team up with Activision.
it's like,
Yeah, right.
Make a video game.
it's like Roku's Basilisk or whatever. I think his name's Roku. You ever heard of that? That's a creepy story in of itself.
Call of
What are
Duty
you talking about?
Krampus.
No, there's this theory. It's like Roku's Basilisk or something like that, where like in the future, like this thing takes over and kills everyone, and it like.
You talking about Roku?
No, look it up. I don't know the full theory behind it. It's kind of smart people too.
Go easy with the wine.
Oh, I didn't see that there was one there. Oh,
What was-
oh my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, look,
Oh,
up, look
Krampus.
up the Basilisk. It's crazy. If you don't help bring it into existence, it posteritally makes your life horrible from the future because you didn't help bring it into existence. So by me telling you about this Basilisk, I'm doing my job, and now my life's going to be great. Please, Mr. Basilisk.
Oh,
Oh, whoa. Mr. Big Snake Man.
that was pretty good. I like those poems.
Yeah, I like the poems. It
I
was,
did like the poems.
It's quite
Besides the
nice.
urine part and the bad Santa part.
The urn part was my favorite part.
The urine part, I thought they were going to try like a different rhythm, but
I'm-
then it was literally just like, yeah, I can't come up with anything that rhymes.
I was yearning for some urine.
yearning for some learning. Is that everything?
Pretty much. I mean, I have. Do you have another one?
I mean, I could read
Wait,
the
yeah,
Frozen
what's
Lady
the one
on
you
my
want to
bed.
dispense from your memory?
All right.
Pez dispenser.
So- Do you want me to read this and then you can read that?
Yeah.
This is only 3 minutes.
Am I the only one that didn't get told?
Well, here's the thing. This is the one that I was originally going to read until it was
Until it was
a copy of
basically
yours.
just.
Well,
yeah.
we could be the judge of that.
Yo, the real horror of this podcast is the creepypasta website. You guys need to fix that shit for mobile.
It's only
I'm
your guys'
I'm calling
iPhones.
you out, creepypasta.
No, don't fix it, because then people will get so sick of your website that they'll come to our podcast to get this content instead.
Wait. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Creepypasta, sponsor us.
I don't know. Their website isn't even mobile optimized. I don't think they're bringing in that much money.
They're
Work
not
for me.
sponsored.
They got furniture ads right on. We're biting the hand that feeds us right now. We need to stop.
All right, this song's called "The Frozen Lady on My Bed."
Follows a lady on my
Hi,
bed.
I'm Casey Kasem, and I'm counting down the top 10.
Can we actually make those Krampus poems in the songs, please?
Yeah, right?
And record, yeah.
George has a keyboard over
That's going to be the name of the album, Frozen Lady on My Bed.
there.
Got a guitar, I got a ukulele, and a keyboard. We can do this.
For 3 payments in $19.99.
Yeah, I'm Casey Kasem. I'm counting down the top 10 stories from Creepypasta.
Frozen
Number
Lady on My
1,
Bed.
The Frozen Lady on the Bed.
Did you flip your hat around for this?
I did.
Holy shit.
He's for real, for real.
Man. No, you should take your hat, show off your blue hair, George.
It's blue, but you probably won't see it on the the black background. The green background.
Oh,
AKA
so you
the
have a
green
faux
screen.
hawk now, dude. Damn.
That's it.
Anyways,
backwards.
the cold woman on my
Yeah, the
frigid woman chilling out on my bed.
The cold little ass on my front porch.
So this is also from Keep
Someone give her a coat.
It's got a 7.4 rating, 7.44
That
rating.
sucks.
It's written by blank again, and it's an estimated reading time of 3 minutes.
All these
Without
mysterious
banter.
writers. Own up to your shit.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
You're getting violent.
I am.
I haven't started reading it because I feel like I'm going to burp.
Damn.
This really did happen to me, and although I'm not haunted by the memory, it still freaks me out, and I'm pretty much out of rational explanations. I don't know if this is going to be freaky to any of you, but I can tell you that my irrational paranoia of the dark worsened after this. So as a kid, I was always afraid of the dark, and still am. However, it was a pretty insane fear when I was younger. I didn't really believe in ghosts or whatever they're correctly called, and I still am skeptical now. But this one prominent incident has made my perspective change from the on the fence to experienced. I was 8 years old, and every night was a struggle for me to go to sleep. I would get scared of every little noise, and if I was fast asleep, I would wake up from every little noise too. I used to have a single bed that was placed directly in front of my door, which I would always leave open when I sleep. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and just sitting upright with my legs still stretched out though, and rubbing my eyes. Obviously, my room was pitch black and I couldn't see anything. However, this time I did see something. After rubbing my eyes, I was surprised to find what I automatically assumed was my mother sitting at the end of my bed. The reason why I assumed it was my mother was because it had the same curly hair, wore the same type of pajamas that my mother would wear, and wore glasses, like my mother always did. However, she looked extremely pale, and more like the color of a dead corpse that you would find in an ocean. She was not facing me, but I could see her side portrait, as she was sitting extremely still and silent facing another wall. Obviously, I had no clue why she was just sitting at the end of my bed in the first place. Being the considerate child I was, I asked her what was wrong. She did not blink once, and she did not move at all. She was still facing the other wall, and I immediately got a bit heated as I thought my own mother was ignoring me. So I asked her the same thing, and got the same response. I reached out for her thigh and tapped it, trying to get her to face me. And at the same time I touched my mother, I asked her, it's in quotations, that's why I put that. And at the same time I touched my mother, I asked her again what was wrong. But I received a response that I did not expect. Sponsored content. Oh wait, that's an ad.
I received a response I did not expect. Anyway, here's the Dollar Shave Club.
she croaked her head towards me.
Use my referral code, not your mother, to get 20% off.
I'm cold, forgot my jacket.
Anyways.
As soon as I touched her, she whipped her head around me extremely fast and faced me with wide eyes and stared at me with her mouth gaping.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends.
Then she started screaming while jumping off the bed.
Stadia, you can play your games anyway.
Please continue.
Then she started screaming while jumping off the bed and pulled my arms off her. I obviously screamed from instinct and tried to bring the covers over my body to, again, protect myself. I then heard footsteps from the hallway and faced the door in my room. And the lights turned on, and it was my mother with a scared face as she asked me worriedly why I was screaming and what was wrong. I just sat there, shocked. I looked around my entire room, and that thing that I thought was my own mother wasn't there. I told my actual mother that it was nothing and tried to go back to sleep. But I obviously couldn't. Many years later, my mother and her sister were looking through old photos of their lives and I decided to sit with them. The house that I lived in when that incident happened had been there a long time before I was born, and my mother had in fact growing up lived next door to it while it was being built. She wasn't the first owner. My mother was telling me about the times when the house was being built and who the first people who lived in it were. They were a mother and daughter. They both died too early. The mother died of cancer and the daughter died in her young adult years from a drug overdose. My mother then showed me a photo of the daughter. Her name was Rachel, and I remember a terrible feeling forming in my stomach. I took the photo from my mother's hands and looked at the photo more closely. Curly hair, glasses, but this time she wasn't in pajamas, but in casual clothes. It was her, the woman that was on my bed. It looked exactly like her, and that incident that happened when I was 8 will make me always remember her face. I don't know how Rachel, if it even was her, got into my room that night, or if I even fully believed that it was a spirit or anything. But someone was there, whether human or not. I saw her, felt her, and heard her. And I will not believe that it was my imagination.
How did they spell pajamas? P-Y?
Pajama.
Pyongyang jama.
Wait,
I feel like that's some
pajamas.
I feel like that's some Euro crap right there. Like how they spell.
I couldn't help but lean over because I just saw the pajamas out of the corner
The
of my eye.
abomination
Like,
of
there's not a Y in that.
I
What are you
feel
doing?
like that story was like 3 paragraphs too long.
Yeah, no, the first 2 paragraphs they could have skipped. They could have started at, I was 8 years old and every night was a struggle for me to go to sleep.
I was 8 years old and every night I wouldn't go to sleep, so my mom would tell me to shut up.
She'd come in and beat me.
Oh my God.
Until I did go to sleep.
The real horror of the world.
Damn.
Child abuse.
Jim, when did you do that to your hair?
What? Is it messed up?
Other side.
Whatever.
That's better.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends.
Not sponsored.
Please sponsor us. You're sponsoring literally everyone. Raid Shadow Legends.
Come on, we have 6 subscribers.
I will actually play your game if you give me money. Please.
You don't have to give me money.
I am playing Raid Shadow Legends. I can tell you that right now.
Let's play Raid Shadow Legends. I don't know what the rest
No,
is.
we'll play it and then Steve will just get us annihilated by other people. Because he'll go into the public chat and keep saying, penis my weenus.
That's how it's done, folks. Tactical precision.
I know from personal experience.
But yeah, I give that story maybe
I give that 9 pops out of 10.
I give it 6 spooky
But
skeletons.
I feel like it was just another version of your story.
Yeah, my story was
Yeah.
concise about it. It was hey, yo.
And that cold lady, Krampus.
Yeah.
It all ties in.
And then
It's Krampus.
Krampus would leave the body in a witch elm.
Exactly.
Then I'll write a letter
Krampus
about how.
Yeah.
turn into a U-boat.
Strangle someone to death.
Then I'll write a letter about how the kid was actually a jaywalker or
Yeah.
something.
This is
Did they mention the kid's name?
Nope.
And then little Nicholas, he sure was a dick. He would cross the streets without the crosswalks.
and here
It
I
wasn't
am.
pretty sick. So one day
You got
he
it,
crossed the street where he shouldn't have. So Krampus came upon him and
Hit him in his calves.
hit him in his calf.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I liked that. I guess I liked it. It was quick. I like these shorter ones. Ones that are too long, it takes
Yeah, it takes forever just to get
And-
to and then the person died.
Yeah, and then they fell through the floor because it was
Yeah, right.
very unstable.
That's the thing I've noticed with creepypastas is that when it comes from a first person perspective, the person never dies because they have to make it seem
Yeah, it always cuts off
Real,
before the action. Yeah.
well they have to make it seem realistic. So the person that actually lived it found a way to get to a computer and post it somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of
it always has that and then I can hear the step. Even now, I can hear the steps. They're coming up the stairs. I need to hurry up and post this. They're going to be here. Oh my god, the door's open. It's Krampus. Ah.
But even sometimes it's just we were in a cave in the middle of nowhere and all this creepy stuff happens. But then it's kind of like a Marvel movie where I'm sitting there thinking oh, well, they posted this on their computer somehow, so everything's going to be good in the end. I don't have to be stressed out about this. So there's no suspense going on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I feel like every creepypasta should be a third-person perspective if you really want to drive home the whole, what's going to happen?
Damn, Steve
Yeah,
over
I
here
agree.
giving a primer for creepypasta.
I don't even write these things. I just read them.
Whatever you say.
you're a creepypasta writer now.
I
You wrote one.
I wrote one.
That's all it takes.
I wrote one.
You think oh wait, none of these have authors.
You think Jimmy Buffett became Jimmy Buffett in a single afternoon drinking martinis on the bar?
I was gonna say
Yes. That's what I thought.
Yes, that's exactly how it happened.
That's what I want to believe.
I got it. What if I was in paradise? I don't know why Jimmy Buffett sounds like this. What if I was in paradise?
Sounds like John Marston.
And there was a cheeseburger next to me.
This was published 4 days ago. Your Krampus story.
Oh, really?
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Krampus is gonna break in.
Thank you for the fresh content, Mr. J. Spetsnaz.
What if it's Krampus that wrote that? What if it was Krampus that wrote that?
Yeah.
And what if I'm reading this now that Krampus is coming after us? There was 3 podcasters, Steve, George, and Jim.
I didn't do anything wrong.
When Krampus came upon them, they didn't even see him. He stabbed Steve in the eyes and then hit him with a beer bottle. Shit, there's nothing that can rhyme with bottle.
And then he got in his car and he hit the throttle.
Then he stole Jim's car and it really hit the throttle.
You didn't even try rhyming bottle. There's like a million words that could rhyme with bottle.
Bitch.
Rattle. Tattle.
What?
That was his motto.
Bottle and rattle?
Yeah, ooh.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like it rhymes.
Hey, do I have to freestyle right now?
Grotto?
Grotto?
Grotto, if you're really stretching.
Grotto and bottle.
Really stretching, I guess.
Grotto and bottle.
Yeah, dude, I'm about to throw you in a grotto.
All right.
Rhyme zone.
The rhymes.
Auto, bottle.
Is this where every free?
These are words.
Curdle.
Dottle.
Dottle.
Hoddle.
Thought ill.
There's so many
Model.
things that rhyme with
Not
bottle,
ill.
Steve.
Twaddle.
Not
Waddle.
till.
There's like 4
Thought
things.
ill.
Hotel.
Waddle.
There's like 4 things here, Steve.
Barattle. Aristotle. Aristotle.
Water bottle.
He hit him with a bottle and he thought, I think I'm going to go home and read Aristotle.
Wait, hold on.
Then he started quoting Aristotle.
Look how many there is.
Autumn.
Awful.
Awful. Battle. Boggle.
Boggle. Bottles. Bottom. Brothel.
Welcome to the Rhyme Zone podcast. This is your host.
Twaddle.
This is your host.
What's this called?
A waffle.
A twaddle.
I called you a model. Rocket.
What is this? We didn't talk about spooky things anymore. We're rhyming.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Rocket shuttle.
That's that Rhyme
Pretty
Zone.
scary. Squabble.
Squall.
With 2 B's.
Let's chill out, apostle.
Boondoggle.
Boondoggle.
Why don't you stopple?
What is the definition of boondoggle?
That's a noun.
Work of little or no value done merely to look busy.
Wow.
Pretty much.
So your
Pretty much-
entire life, huh, Steve?
Dang.
He's the one who didn't say anything when we were trying to read
Yeah,
that
I know.
together.
You're boondoggling over there.
Oh, if it was a verb, do useless, wasteful, or trivial work.
Boondoggling.
Boondoggle.
I like. Thanks for tuning into the Ghost Collective podcast.
That's it. We're just going right into the closing. We're not even going to ease into it.
Nope.
You gotta like.
We did ease into
I
it.
got one story.
Hey,
That I have to try and-
disperse your memory.
Yeah.
Disperse upon us, Steve.
Maybe we should just cut it right here.
Disperse.
We've been running for an awfully long time.
So,
Are we really?
Yeah.
why are you looking at that?
There's no time.
Let's see what time it was.
I can give you when we started. Yeah, we ran for an hour.
Whatevs. Podcasts go for like an hour, right, people?
Thank you for joining in on this special edition holiday podcast.
It's really a special edition if we did 2 special editions in a row.
Yes. Well, what we have to do now is we have to record a bunch of like little podcasts and pretend like they happened in November.
Let's record a special for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanksgiving, Christmas special.
Maybe this was our Thanksgiving like special. Like
It could be
Thanksgiving
whatever.
doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah,
It's
and
basically
then the next one will be a New
Thanksgiving.
Year's. And we'll read stories about how, like, fireworks.
Can we
Came
do a
alive or
live
something.
cast from
I went to go
Alicia's?
kiss Jim underneath the fireworks.
Can we do a live cast from
Or
Alicia's
fireworks on my
party?
ears. What am I doing?
Let's just do a live cast from Alicia's party and have her whole family make fun of us as we're recording.
No one's going to be there.
I
Like,
wanna
none of
do
her
that.
family's going to be there. I don't mean it that way.
Oh my
Damn, dude.
God.
Sorry, Alicia. I guess it's just gonna be me, you, and Steve chilling. I don't know.
It's gonna be a lot of people.
I miss family.
Anyways, as we discuss familial differences, this has been the Ghost Collective. Do you have any scary stories you want to share? Post them in the comments. Leave us a like. Even subscribe if you want. If you're a sponsor that wants to give us money, we're pretty good at sponsoring shit.
Hit that bell.
I guess hit the bell. I don't really like the bell that much.
I still don't know what the bell does.
I mean, you could just I guess we could just fade out right here and just make it seem like we're still talking about shit. You can even include this. I don't know, George. You're editing it right now. This is the ending of the podcast.
I'm
everyone.
just gonna edit in Steve slowly vanishing.
I hope you had fun. Did you like our podcast? Make sure you like it. We've already been here with this.